Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Black History 365, where we're talking about Black history 365 days a year. Not really, but the point is that we're talking about it throughout the year and not just in Black History Month, right? Because, bitch, what? We live, okay? So today I want to talk to you guys about Black caricatures. Now, I have to admit, I really debated on if I should even make this video just because a lot of the Black caricatures are very graphic and extremely racist, and they're just kind of hard to read about and learn about and see the imagery. These are things that I learned about actually about my junior year in college, and I only learned about it because I took a specific race in America class. A lot of people are never taught about this. I really debated on if I really wanted to talk about this or not, but on the other side, I decided that these caricatures are so important to our history because they are literally the root. They are the creations of pretty much every Black stereotype that exists today. So I do think, even though it's very hard to learn about and read and see these imageries, I think they are very important to be aware about, to understand really where the root of these issues come from. I just go ahead and trigger warning this video as with racism and maybe a little bit of violence. All right, so let's get started. So first of all, what exactly is a caricature? Well, I'm going to read to you the exact definition of a caricature. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, so a caricature is defined as a picture, description, or imitation of a person or thing which certain striking characteristics are exaggerated in order to create a comic or grotesque effect. One of the biggest things you could probably think of reading that description are minstrel shows. That is definitely a type of caricature. So caricatures are not necessarily limited to two Black people. There's caricatures in about every race and every culture. So I am going to focus on Black caricatures. And there's a lot of different Black caricatures, so I don't have time to cover every single one. So I picked up 4 in particular that I wanted to focus on. That is the Mammy, the Sapphire, the Coon, and the Brute. Those are the 4 that I want to talk about today. And I picked those 4 because I feel like those are the 4 that are not necessarily the most used, but they're definitely the most present in today's society. So let's start with the Mammy. So the Mammy is probably one of the best well-known caricatures about Black women, and it was basically used to try and prove that Black women were just happy and content being slaves. So it was used a lot as a tool in society and economics and political things to kind of basically promote slavery, and that proved to everyone that slavery wasn't this inhumane thing, it was great, and the Black people just loved working for the whites. So the basic characteristics of like a Mammy imagery that you would see is somebody who was like very wide grin, like Joker grin, like over exaggerated smile, like a hearty chuckle from down in his diaphragm, just slavery, and being a loyal servant to her white family. Those were like the kind of the 3 main things. She was desexualized. She was usually a very dark-skinned Black woman because dark-skinned people were like, cut that shit. Nobody liked dark skin. She was usually very large to further desexualize her. She always have bandanas. In the cartoons, you see them, they'll always have bandanas. She's basically seen as like this unattractive, disgusting woman that just isn't good for anything else. So, you know, she just loves serving the whites because that's what Blacks are here for. It's so much fun. Slavery. So apart from slavery, they were very prominent in like media. They started to pop up in like when they started doing films and shit like that. Black women were pretty much only giving Mammy roles. One of the biggest, Hattie Mcdaniel. She's probably one of the most well-known actresses for doing it. Her most popular role being in Gone with the Wind. Some even argue that Medea is in some way a Mammy, not necessarily in the slavery sense, but the kind of over-exaggeratedness of it. I can kind of see it, but I also kind of feel like that's a reach. But some people do try to talk about Medea being a Mammy. The other big one is like The Help. It's like clearly a fucking Mammy story. It's one of the reasons why I can't fucking stand that movie. But interestingly enough, a lot of people don't know this, but one of the biggest things that made the Mammy caricature take off was Aunt Jemima. Yes, I'm talking about Aunt Jemima, the brand. Aunt Jemima, when you look at the original commercials that were used, it's a Mammy. And it's actually based off of a real person. Her name was Nancy Green, and she was born a slave in Kentucky. And she basically was taken out of slavery to become a like commercial slave, I guess you could say. So became the face of Aunt Jemima, and so all of their stuff was modeled off this. So Aunt Jemima didn't actually take off at first, so they made the world's largest flour barrel to try to promote their pancake mix, right? This flour barrel was 24 feet high by 12 feet long. And the way they promoted this was they had Nancy Green basically perform a minstrel show. She basically was out on the front of this barrel singing, dancing, and talking about how slavery is great and the South is just this lovely romantic place where blacks and whites love each other and we all get along and kiki on the porch while they're whipping our kids and slaughtering our people. It's just so fun. And it works. So by the 1900s, Aunt Jemima had blown up and they had sold tens of millions of their product. Aunt Jemima is literally kind of what made the Mammy caricature take off. And it still exists today. They've changed the imagery a bit, but it definitely still looks like a Mammy. So fuck Aunt Jemima forever. Hey guys, I'm butting in here. So when I recorded this, I didn't expect for it to be this long. It ended up being like a fucking half-hour long. So I decided I'm going to split these up, each one of the caricatures up into their own video, so you can actually just watch them for like 3 or 4 minutes at a time, and you don't have to watch this one long 463-day long video. So that's going to be the end of this video. In the meantime, as always, do some research and fact check and learn more about this shit because it's very important, okay? I will see you guys next week, and we will pick this back up talking about the Sapphire caricature, which is also focused on black women. It is where the angry black women stereotype came from. So stay tuned in, all right? All right, see you guys. Mwah. When I was researching this, I actually found an article that was talking about how slave masters, especially down in the South, were trying to find ways to maintain control and authority over their slaves. And they ended up getting in contact with this slave owner from the Virgin Islands, I believe. And he basically came up and trained them on ways on how to like create conflict between the black people. So this is